There you go. Prince of Darkness. It's a really interesting book. It's the untold story of Jeremiah G. Hamilton, Wall Street's first black millionaire. Right? Part of the reason I like it, mind you, I've only gotten through the introduction. Most people have never heard of this person before. And it creates a different narrative for, you know, the black American that, all right, let me explain a little bit. Black American history is all skewed for us being like the weak, right? None of this, it's never really, there's the strength in it is, it's all civil rights strength. It's never like, they never portray us as being normal people. It's always like some hopeless person or something like that. But when you look at it through the eyes of something like this, right? The Prince of Darkness, and it's just the Prince of Darkness because he was dark, right? In a white man's world. I like it because he's a conqueror in the white man's world, right? In Wall Street of the time. You know, we forgot about him throughout history, but that's why I'm not going to forget about him now. So if you would like to join me while I read this book, like I said, I've only gotten through the introduction. I would love for you to join me as I go through the chapters and find little golden pieces and nuggets of little things that, you know, maybe I didn't know, maybe you didn't know, maybe, you know, we strategically were never told to keep us more in line with how society wants to make black Americans or even black people around the world. Let's go into the introduction, see if we can find something really, really interesting. I wanted to say this. There was something I read in here because a lot of people have the misconception, and I might get some flack with this with slavery, but the truth is the truth, that all the South was slave states. Yes, they had slaves. However, they weren't all the way slave states. And what do I mean by that? Let me explain. This is talking about a newspaper article from the 1830s or something like that. The 1850s, excuse me. A New Yorker discussing, you know, how Jeremiah Hamilton, you know, there couldn't be a black millionaire in New York. All the black millionaires were where? Let me explain. And it's reading it directly out of the book, so it's not Erik's words. It's out of the book, right? Only black millionaire in New York. Glossing this statement, he darted off on a tangent. As McCune Smith probably knew, the wealthiest blacks in the country in 1850. Now, listen, I'm going to say it again. The wealthiest blacks in the country in 1850 were Southern black masters. I'm going to say that again, just in case you didn't hear me. The wealthiest blacks, you know, people like me, in the 1850s, slavery was still going on, right? This is before the Civil War, right? The wealthiest black people during slavery, right, were the Southern, right? So that means they were in the South, right? Black masters. Now, what states in the South? Now, this is going to be a woozy for you, right? So everything that you've been told about how horrible and everything is, well, there were some black millionaires in this same environment. Light-skinned cotton and sugar planters in Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina, right? Who were accepted as whites. Let's say that again. Light-skinned. Now, you can probably look at me and be like, you're not white-skinned. Have you ever seen me next to my buddy Joe from Ghana? I'm very light-skinned. You might as well say I'm white next to him. He's more like the color of my hair, right? I'm not saying that in a derogatory way or a mean way or anything. I'm just pointing out facts. So if you were to, because I'm also mixed too. I'm not 100% African. You know, I got Native American in me as well. So technically, back in the olden days, I would be a light-skinned black person, right? So let's go over this again because it's fascinating to me. The wealthiest blacks in the country in the 1850s during slave times were Southern black masters, light-skinned, that looked more like me, right? And cotton and sugar planters in Louisiana, right? French, Mississippi, French, and South Carolina, which is the origination of, 88% of slaves that came into the United States came through South Carolina. And it's kind of funny, Louisiana and Mississippi as well, because Louisiana is where, Baton Rouge and what is it called? New Orleans, which was the other main hub for the importation of slaves, which, was French. That's why it's French. But yeah, if you'd like to learn more, I kind of went on a tangent, but sorry about that, about Black Prince. And if you see things and the way I see things, it's pretty awesome. And if you'd like to learn more, let's see, we are, the other thing about this black man, I was about to say nigga, but black man is, he shaved his head and wore a black straight, what does it say? For 40 years, Hamilton roamed the city in a hairpiece. It became a signature trait. Still flaunting a fine, black, long-haired wig, right? So he was walking around, and in a different part, he had diamonds and everything. He was walking around like a 70s pimp in 1850. So if you want to learn more and enjoy me while I go through this book and learn more history about black people in America that they don't really tell us, please join me. And somewhere you can click link. Well, I don't know. Just wait for the next video. And once I get done with chapter 1.